Okay, and welcome back, everyone. When we last left off, we had just picked up our 5th gym badge and made it all the way to Fuchsia City. So, our team is in pretty good shape here. I think we're going to take on the next gym. Now, in looking ahead, it looks like a lot of the trainers in the gym have psychic types to start off. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to switch to Meowie up front, and then what we're going to do is we're going to level up one of our big players who could use it. So remember we picked up the gold teeth in the Safari Zone. I happened to pick them up 3 times. And now the Warden will give us a reward for having done that. This is HM04 Strength. And Strength will help move boulders just like the one to the far right of our screen. But we want to teach Strength to one Pokemon in particular. Oh, well, I thought Booster might be able to learn it, but instead it looks like... Let's see what Mama can do. We're gonna forget Mega Punch because I think Strength is the same as Mega Punch. Okay, well then it looks like Booster is going to be more specialized than we thought. Okay, in Gen 1, remember you have to go... And you have to go into the menu in order to use Strength. There's a rare candy. Well... Booster continues to surprise us. But let's lead with Meowie first and start taking on the Fuchsia City gym. Now, it hopefully should be a little bit easier than Sabrina's, just because I think we have more counters. As you can see that there are a bunch of little white dots. Well, you see these gray dots lines across the floor, and then the white dots are actually what show you an invisible wall in the gym that you have to get around in order to reach the gym leader, Kogo. Let's see how much Meowie can do on a lot of these. Oof. Okay, well... Hopefully he can tank this. Okay, there we go. Alright, and let's just bust our way through this gym. There's no one in particular who's really strong against a lot of these psychic types. And yeah, there's really only 2 trainers in here that even have poison type Pokemon. Now Koga is a different story, he's got a ton of them. Okay. Yeah, jugglers will do that. They'll withdraw their Pokemon a lot. That's sort of their MO. Alright. Let's see what Egg Bomb can do. Egg Bomb third. Let's do a Mega Drain. Let's not get cute. Okay. Let's hope it's the Drowsy that's already weakened. Nice. Alright. You know what? No, we're not going to do Kadabra. Or we're not going to... I was going to say we could do Mama, but let's hold off. Let's see what an Egg Bomb can do. Great. Maybe we'll use Egg Bomb third to wall our rivals. Alakazam, maybe. That's not the worst idea. I mean, it all depends on what order it ends up coming out. Nice. Alright, you are done for. Alright, let's switch. Yeah, let's put Mama back up front here. Like I said, let's just fight our way through here. It's not that hard. There are only 6 trainers in here, which is actually a lot. Yeah, we can head back. Oh, here we go. Well, this is actually pretty fortuitous. One earthquake should take down this guy. Right, there we go. Very nice, Mama, very nice. Now we can put in Egg Bomb the Third. Wow, I didn't expect him to be faster. I thought Sandslash was pretty fast. Maybe some of the badge boosts are starting to play in here. And we're going to want to go back to Mama now. So Koga has a pretty solid team of psychic types here. Sorry, poison types. They're all poison. So Mama should be able to run through this gym. Because Mama's going to wall all their poison moves, wall the remaining normal moves, and then, most importantly, do major damage with Earthquake. But let's at least get our team lined up in order. This is the easiest generation to see those invisible walls. It gets actually, maybe Let's Go is a little easier. I think, yeah, this one's really easy. The Let's Go, or, Fire Red and Leaf Green, I remember it being a little bit more difficult than this game. Oh, wow. I would not have expected that. Very good. And yep, we're gonna put Mama back in. One thing I've been debating is we have a really long trek ahead of us with our with getting to Blaine. I'm wondering if we just use. So I'm debating whether we use the same Pokemon up front, or whether we keep going back and forth. I'll see, or we use, or whether we end up using some repels. Maybe a repel is the way to go. I'm still debating. I just don't want to lose that experience. I know we kept Egg Bomb in, but I want to see what we can do here. Oh. Dude, these jugglers are crazy. Let's hope this at least takes him down. Ooh. Is he just cycling between the same 2 Pokemon? Yeah, I think he just has a Hypno and Drowsy. Let's hope this Egg Bomb lands. There we go. Alright. And yeah, let's put Mac in. Let's give him some experience here. Alright, way to go. He dropped his ball. I'm not, you know what? not even worth commenting on here. That's such a, like, I mean, it is a sign of the times. You know, Japan in the 90s, and that's great. And let's just keep Egg Bomb. I mean, we already have, but let's just keep him out in front. Alright, hopefully an Egg Bomb will take him out here. Great. Yeah, you know what? Let's use Mac. Mac's attack is way higher than I thought. Let's hit him with a Swift. Yeah, that's way better than I anticipated. It's funny that Mac's Learn set has not really changed since he became a Raichu. It's essentially the same as when he was a Pikachu. Okay, now let's go back and heal, and then we'll take on Koga. Okay, and we are back. We have Mama in the front of our party, and we also have now 30 repels. Alright, let's save here. I'm hoping that it'll be 5 hits in this battle. And I'm not trying to get ahead of ourselves by hoping 4 will be one-shots and the final will be Koga hitting the ground. That's one. Now here comes his ace. That is... You know what? I deserve that. I really deserve that one. Wow. Okay, well, let's make it a bit more interesting. Okay, well, that's why you never count your money when you're sitting at the table. And I misspoke earlier, now his ace is coming out. Although, I don't know, maybe Muck was his ace. If Weezing doesn't survive this, then maybe... I don't know. Okay, well... And we will be able to tank this, hopefully. I've got to stop speaking things into existence. I mean, we did tank it, but that was way closer than I thought. Now we have the Soul Badge. And we can surf outside of battle. And finally, we get the Toxic TM. Toxic is a great TM. We are going to want to teach that to someone immediately. Everyone can learn it. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Mama should learn it, but should we just give it to Booster? Booster could learn a different type of... Yeah, you know, let's give it to Booster. Let's make Booster a bit more interesting. Okay, now, actually, let's switch up our party. I decided that we are going to use, that we're going to use repels through the next few areas. I mean, it's not ideal, but I think it's required in this playthrough. I also can go and train up off camera. So for those of you who don't know, we will be surfing now all the way from Fuchsia to, well, really the Cinnabar Islands is where we're going, but initially, well, Cinnabar, but also the Seafoam Islands. And there are a lot of trainers along the way. So you have these first two. I think what my plan will be too is that I'll handle it like we handled the training yesterday, or in our last video, which will be that I will just keep going, maybe until it's time to heal. Or maybe until the person who's currently being trained needs to go heal. I think that's probably the better way to do it. I would almost rather prefer that, where Lear fails rather than the paralysis kicking in. I just think that's funnier. Okay, excellent job. Yeah, still, I mean, for him being so unevolved, I mean, he's still holding his own. Did we just get more money picking it up than what he paid us? Maybe I was off by a decimal place, but that's what it at least seemed like to me. Alright. Way to go, Meowie. Shelder. Is this the first time? No, we've seen Shelder before. I do really like that sprite, though. It makes its shell look a little bit more segmented. I've never run a Shelder, but who knows? Maybe never say never. There are a lot of water types I've never run in Gen 1. That was one tough thing about deciding to use Squirt. I mean, I'm very glad that we did, obviously. Oh, I think Meowie, yeah, he told me just for a little bit longer he wants to stay at Meow. But, and this music is great, but yeah, I just would, I think it'd be interesting to see what other types of Pokemon you could get in, what other types of water Pokemon you can use. Alright, let's use the Super Repel once. And I just like, especially when you have the Super Repel going back and forth, zigzagging on this route to make sure you get everything. Fight every trainer, get all the experience you can get. In the surf section, you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like 8 trainers. Yeah, so we've already fought 2 of them, so you have 10 total on this route. And then there's still a nice little bit to go after that. The repels will also be helpful for the next few caves we're going to go in. Let's wait to fight that guy. until we cross down a bit more. The water roots really aren't that bad if you buy repels. I was never a huge proponent of it. Not that I was against it, but I think I conserved so much money in my games, and you really learn that you get a fair amount in most games. The Johto games are an exception, but even then, there are ways to get around it. But yeah, in this game, you get so much cash that you really should be using it. It's all ones and zeros anyway, probably even in the real world. Alright, you know what, let's keep Booster. Let's use some Booster. I'm just more so curious to see if he can tank things or take them out. Okay, that's not terrible. I think maybe we'll keep Booster in. Just for a little bit. Normally I wouldn't lead a fire type on this water-heavy route, but you know, he could use the training. And he's not going to get much done in the next two gyms either, with one being a neutral type and one being super effective. So, yeah, why not? Oh, Mama should be brought down too. Plus, we gotta get Booster close to level 54, which at this point is seeming not like a great... There's no great hope in that, I would say. But we need that for Flamethrower. I think if we get our guys to about level 50 before the league, I think that will be feasible. I think then the league will be feasible. You know, yeah, we're gonna change. Let's put Squirt in. Poliwhirl looks great. We haven't seen Poliwrath yet, I don't think. Great. Alright. There you go, Squirt. Beaten up on another water type. Belly flop. Yet, what is with these swimmers not giving out any money? It's pretty much all swimmers on this route, except for a few beauties who will come up. Very nice. Oh, that's even better. And I think Shelter might take neutral damage. Shelter should be coming next. Oh no, Shelter's just water type. It's Cloyster where you gain the additional ice type. Which is always seemed a little off to me that Cloyster gets the ice type. Maybe their thought was that, you know, shellfish are packed on ice, you know, sold on ice. Maybe that was it. Alright, yeah, Booster is going to want to learn this. So, Bite will at least be better than Sand Attack. We can use it instead of Quick Attack for a good bit. Okay, now let's put Squirt in. Seaking. Now this is the first time we've seen Seaking here. This is a pretty, all things told, I think this is a good sprite. It doesn't look as suggestive as the Goldeen one. I think it's a pretty good sprite, all things considered. Yeah, these swimmers just might not be carrying all this cash on them, clearly. Alright. Yes, you see, you just zigzag back and forth, you'll eventually see all the trainers on this route. Oh, yep, here's the big group of them. I always forget that they're all down here. I think if it's 3 beauties and 1 swimmer, which I think it is. That guy is, he's a ladies' man. Alright. Now we're gonna keep Squirt in. Let's start using Bite. We want to conserve some of our digs, maybe. Seaking might need a dig. I'll take another Tail Whip, though. Or a failed Supersonic, that's even better. Yeah, let's hope a Bite will take this out. Yeah, Goldeen looks like it could not care less about being in this battle. So many water types just aren't worth using, though, in the game because they're all so late. Like, you know, like, where do you even catch Goldeen? And, you know, would it even be feasible to use it? I don't know. I find it difficult to think so. Yeah, Egg Bomb the third. I think you're going to be having a good time on this route. Okay, so that's 1 trainer and 1 beauty. The waters are treacherous. Certainly because we're in them, that's for sure. Okay, yep, here's a swimmer. Best part is Psychic is going to be super effective against this guy. Tentacool and Tentacool are shockingly great in this generation. Again, they really benefit from the special stat not being split here. And poison typing is pretty solid for them both. Yeah, I've never really used them. I have used Staryu and Starmie before. Again, I find very underrated. The Psychic type is phenomenal. Their special attack is incredible. Horsea also. I've used a Horsea in a playthrough, but it was in Johto, and it sort of endgame just to get a Kingdra, so I don't really feel like I got a ton of usage out of it. Tentacool and Tentacool. Wow, that's awesome. With the folded tentacles over, that's pretty good. But yeah, Tentacool and Tentacool actually have a pretty interesting history behind them in the anime. So if you've ever seen the Pokemon anime opening, the US opening, there's a scene where you see a giant tentacruel knocking over a building, a skyscraper, it looks like. And that episode, initially, it was called Tentacool and Tentacruel. And yeah, it was about a giant tentacruel that storms a city and destroys some buildings, etc. But it was actually it was taken off the air in the US for a while because of its, the themes around building destruction around September 11th, 2001. And so I believe it was taken off the air for a little bit. It's now back, I think. You can at least get it maybe on the Pokemon YouTube channel where they put up a lot of episodes. But yeah, for a while as a kid, I had never seen that episode. And yeah, that wasn't super uncommon. There are a lot of episodes I hadn't seen. But yeah, when I learned that, it made a little sense, because you say to yourself, okay, yeah, I see that in the intro, but I've never seen that episode. Yeah, and so overall, that is a swimmer who is just hanging in this group with 3 beauties. Like I said, good for him. Alright, now Meowie's Body Slam is doing a whole lot. It's funny because my Meow, his Heavy Slam would be super effective. Oh, what, did you hear me? That seemed to wake him up. At least start licking his chops. I really hope the sound of you licking your lips is not being picked up. Alright, now we can start zigzagging here on our next route. Wow. Okay, I might have gone a little overboard on the repels if one repel got us through the entire route. But, like I said, the money's not going anywhere. Can't take it with us, either here or in real life. So this is Route 20 East. There are only 4 trainers on this route. But it is a route you want to get to in order to continue on to Cinnabar. Now I'll show you in a bit. That's good to miss. Clamp is very similar to Wrap, where you don't want to be hit with it. A great strategy in some of these games is to use Cloyster or Shellder to lay down a Toxic and then to Clamp. Cloyster here, maybe it's just the way that my perspective is, but it looks like Cloyster's shell is inverted from future games. Like, I always thought the hinge was up and down, but it looks here like it's left to right. Meowie, what do you think? You're now awake. Do you want to evolve? Ah, I said I want to stay Meow for a little bit longer. But yeah, so there's another route that will lead down to Cinnabar. I'll show you that side. That's probably a little bit quicker than this route, but it's good to get both of them done. Okay. Well, one round of leveling for everyone on the team on this route is pretty solid. Probably wouldn't have gained that much more with our not having the repels on, and would have been far more annoying. Seadra looks interesting here. Its fins are a little bit more divided than I thought. Okay, and here's Horsea coming back. The Horsea and Seadra line is a great one. Kingdra's awesome too. I just think it's cool that they added they took a line that already looked awesome and they made it even cooler. Gen 2 and Gen 4 were really good about that. Remember when the Gen 4 games came out and they had all those new evolutions? It was really, I don't know, to me that just seemed like we were in a whole new era of gaming. At least for the Pokemon franchise. You know, especially you could use a lot of them in the game, not in Diamond and Pearl, so to say, but in Platinum you could use a ton of them. I mean, my Platinum team, the first time I played through it, was awesome. I remember I had a Glade, who else? Houndour, Houndoom, Torterra, of course. Forgetting who else, but it probably Floatzel and Staraptor thrown in there. Absolutely Giratina. It did have a Darkrai, one of the release ones that you got from Toys R Us, and that's one that I still wish I had, that Darkrai. Okay, Meow, I know you want to be on my lap, but we have a stream to continue. Yeah, let's see what Booster can do against Seadra, huh? We're gonna go back and heal anyway after this, more than likely. Great. Wow. Well, that was pretty seamless. So let's switch our guys down. But yeah, I had one of the Toys R Us Darkrai's. It was awesome, man. I really wish that I could get that back. Yeah, and here is the very opening of Seafoam Islands. You know, let's battle this last trainer. I love floating. I hope you don't love battling, huh? Okay, let's use Bite. Great. Nice. Even better. Alright, way to go, Booster. You know, like I said, Booster is always good for a nice little surprise, man. Okay, let's see inside the Seafoam Islands. Alright, and here we are. I think now is going to be a good time to pause. Next time when we pick up, we will traverse through the Seafoam Islands, and we will make it to, hopefully, to Cinnabar Island. So, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and make sure to like and subscribe, follow for more videos, and tune in next time.